Welcome to Kimu. Kimu is your AI assistant for the Linux Fundamentals course here at WirfonCloud Academy, as well as coach for the LPI Linux Essentials certification. Let me explain what Kimu is in simple terms. You know when you are at Bamenda, Nairobi, Kigali, Lagos, or Accra bus station and you don't know which bus to take? The helpful traveler who knows all the routes is standing right there and can answer any question: which bus, which fare, and which stop. That's Kimu for this course. Kimu is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It doesn't matter if it's 2 a.m. in Kumbo, Kigali, or Accra. Kimu is ready to help. Just log in and ask and you will receive. Pause the video here and take a look at this slide. In the next slide and demo, I'll show you exactly how to use Kimu and what it can do for you in Models 1. Kimu has 5 ways to help you study. Let me walk through each one briefly. In the very first step, you start by picking a model out of the 13 models in this course. Mod 1. Ask Kimu. This is the conversational mode. Ask any question and Kimu answers in plain language with analogies that make sense, like comparing Linux permissions to a gatekeeper at a Kimoronko market store. Mod 2. Practice quiz. 5 targeted questions on one model. Kimu explains why each answer is right or wrong. Mod 3. Full exam mode. 10 questions timed LPI-style. You need 70% to pass, exactly like the real LPI Linux Essentials exam. Mod 4. Quick reference. The 20 most tested LPI facts in one list, perfect for the week before your exam. Mod 5. Kimu gives you a summary of the key concepts, the most important commands, and the exam hot topics for that model. Pause here if you need to look at this again. Now I'm going to walk you through a demo on how to use Kimu. Here's Kimu on your web browser. Students who have registered for the Linux Fundamentals course here with WirfonCloud Academy will get access to this link. It starts by showing you how to use Kimu. You start by picking a model out of the 13 models. And here are the 5 different modes that we have just discussed. What makes Kimu special is that it uses exact WirfonCloud course analogies that you already know. But feel free to ask Kimu to use an analogy that you are comfortable with. We'll reference the 13 models and the lab work that we have for the entire course. We'll use a teaching style that you are already familiar with. Kimu will explain why wrong answers are wrong, not just the correct answer. So let's go ahead and see Kimu in action. And our focus is Model 1. So I'm going to pick Model 1. And let's say after covering the course, or after covering Model 1, I was not able to understand the hardware basics. So I want Kimu to explain to me what CPU, RAM, and storage is all about. But I want Kimu to do so using a mobile money kiosk analogy. I also want Kimu to tell me what each component is capable of doing. So this is my question. After typing my question, I'm going to come down to the answer from Kimu box here, and there's a play button I can click. I'm going to use this one, not the one at the top. So after I click on play, I'm going to wait for Kimu to generate an answer. In some cases, Kimu may take some time to generate an answer, but be patient. Kimu's answer: CPU, RAM, and storage. In plain language first, your computer has 3 key parts that work to run everything. The CPU is the brain. It actually does the thinking and calculations. RAM, which is random access memory, is your short-term working memory. It holds information the CPU is actively using right now, but forgets everything when power is cut off. Storage is your long-term memory. It keeps your files, programs, and operating system permanently when the computer is off. It's going to go ahead and give an analogy. So think of a mobile money kiosk, like the MTN Momo agent bots you see in Kigali or Banjul. CPU is equivalent to the kiosk agent, the person working. The agent is the one actually doing the work, calculating change, processing transaction, verifying IDs, and making decisions. Fast, focused handles one task at a time or a few of them. If you give the agent too many customers at once, they slow down. That's your CPU being overloaded. A faster agent equal to more customers saved per minute. On your EC2 instance, you can check for CPU by using the command lscpu. That's what we covered in the course, and this is the expected output. RAM, the agent's desk, working space. The agent has a small desk where they keep the things they are currently working on. The desk only holds so much. It's full. The agent slows down, shuffling papers. When the kiosk closes for the night, the desk is cleared. That's RAM being wiped or shut down. The more RAM, the bigger desk. More things handled at once without slowing down. You check RAM on your EC2 instance using the command 3-h. We also cover this a model, and this is the expected output. It talks about swap, which we also covered in our model. Storage is like the filing cabinet. Behind the agent is a locked metal filing cabinet holding everything permanently. Let's say all transactions, the agent's training manual, customer account files, and receipt going back years. The cabinet stays full when the kiosk is locked overnight. The agent must walk to the cabinet, find a file, bring it to the desk. This is why reading from storage is slower than RAM. On your EC2, this is EBS volume. It goes ahead to give a command that we're going to see in the next model, model 2. Then Kimu goes to give some LPI exam facts. These are key things you should know before the exam. It also goes ahead to give you things you should watch out for so that you should leave this model without any confusion. And you can see the analogy here. And I can say that you can pause the video to have a good recap of this table. Now, in the next mode, this quiz mode, Kimo has generated 5 questions that are specific only for module 1 that we should complete. And below here, the quiz answer submission, Kimo shows us how we should submit our results. So let's go ahead and tackle these questions. I'm going to start with question 1. And you see, you answer a question with a dash, and then you give the correct option, comma, and a space, and you proceed. So I'm going to start with question 1. A technician at an MTN Momo processing center decides to understand the role of an operating system. Which of the following best describes what an operating system does? A. Connects the computer directly to the internet without any configuration. B. Manages hardware resources and provides services for application programs. C. It is a type of application software used only for word processing. D. It stores user data permanently on an external hard drive. I know for sure that the answer is B, but let's try to play a trick and give the wrong answer and see if Kimo will be able to identify this. So I'm going to pick D. So I type 1, a dash D, a comma, and then a space. And I move to question 2. System Administrator Office Network is explaining the difference between open source and proprietary software to new interns. Which of the following is an example of an open source operating system? A. Microsoft Windows 11. B. Mac OS Ventura. C. Ubuntu Linux. D. iOS 17. Now, I'm sure that's B. That's C. Ubuntu Linux. Type a comma and a space and move to question 3. A junior technician runs a command on an EC2 server in Lagos and sees the following output in the terminal. Which type of command most likely produce this output? A command that lists all running processes on the server. A command that displays the Linux kernel and system information. A command that shows available disk space on the server. a command that lists all users currently logged into the system. I know for sure that this is kernel information, so I know the answer is B. So on 3, I hit a dash B, comma, and I proceed to question 4. True or false, the Linux kernel is the core part of the Linux operating system and is responsible for managing communication between software and hardware. I know for sure that that's true, but Kimu will still review our question for answers. What is the name of the free and open source operating system kernel originally created by Linus Torvalds in 1991 that forms the foundation of distributions such as Ubuntu, Fedora, and Debian? Now, if you did complete Module 1, you should know that's Linux, of course. So after I've typed all my answers following the rules that were given, I come right below here on the full quiz review and I click on play. So Kimu is going to look at all my submission. And as you notice, for question 1, I did pick D. And you remember very well, I said that was intentional. So for question 1, Kimu will look at the student answer, D. Kimu will give the result, incorrect. And Kimu will tell me the correct answer is B. Then Kimu is going to explain why that option is correct. And then Kimu is also going to explain why the other options are wrong. Then Kimu will follow up with an LPI exam tip, as well as a memory trick if you need one. In question 2, Kimu is going to look at, again, my answer, student answer C. Kimu gives it as correct. Kimu is going to explain why that's correct, and Kimu is going to explain why the others are wrong. And then an LPI exam tip as well as a memory trick. Kimu is going to do like that for all the questions. As you can see, question 4, as well as question 5. Kimu is going to read my score and tell me if I did pass or fail. So after you have closed with this, the next part or the next mode is the exam mode. You can choose to have 10 questions generated. And if you choose this option, 10 questions will be generated in this full exams question box. And you then submit your answers using the same format as explained here. Once you submit your answers, you click again on play and the full exam review will be carried here. But maybe you want to just have quick reference card. You are going to select show quick reference card and you're going to come here and you're going to click on play. And I will say this is suitable when you have completed the course or when you're about halfway through the course, because this is covering all the 13 modules and covering areas that are specific to the Linux Essential exams. As you can see, it's showing you top 10 exam facts, the things you should know, what you should master. So this will make much sense as you keep progressing to the course, but I'm showing this that you should know when to use it. After you are finished with this review, if you want to have just a summary of Module 1, come right at the bottom. The module overview and key concepts is displayed. You will notice as well that Kimu may go ahead and also display information that we have not seen, but that's not a problem. But as we move ahead, you'll be able to get all those facts together. So that's Kimu in action. And what I can point out is that in working with Kimu, you may encounter some error messages. Just proceed to refresh or to follow the instructions stated. If you also find any bugs that you think are hindering you from making progress, do let us know by writing in our Discord channel or in the discussion forum for the course. Now, I'm glad to have you, and that was Kimu in action. Perven, Asante Sana, Morakozi, Medese. Thank you very much.